Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Birth.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Birth. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
Time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
Time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Let's jump into it for today. See what we're dealing with. 24th of December, Christmas Eve. See, our moon sign is going to make a transition today, but that transition doesn't occur till this evening right here. 8:57 p.m. it goes void, of course, and it remains void, of course, until 11:26 when it makes the transition to the next sign. So for the moment, what we've got is we have Capricorn, which is our sun sign. Capricorn is the conscious mind. So our conscious mind is dealing with the material world, things of material world. And of course, everything about this, the darkness, the change, all represent the ignorance that comes when we think that we're only in the material world, when we forget that there's the fire, the water, the air. As I described the other day, a building with different floors. And the material floor is one floor, the fire floor is one, the water floor, the air floor. Each floor has, each one of these elements has a floor. And thinking that you only have the one floor means you walk in and that's as far as you go. You don't realize there's upper levels. But there are. And so that's the whole idea. Not to get caught up in the illusion of the physical world, because the physical world can be affected and is affected by what goes on in the world of fire, which is ideas, in the world of water, which is emotions, and in the world of air, which are the actions that we take. Ideas, emotions, and actions affect the physical world. So if we want to affect the physical world, we go back to the fire, water, air. We don't have to try to do the physical world, because if you think about it, by the time something is physical, if you look at a recipe, by the time something gets to the physical state, it's already been through the process of all the ingredients that have been mixed together, and it's been created. It's been put in the oven, you take it out, and you have the cake. It's done. You can't do anything more with it, except maybe add some other material things on top of it. Ice cream, whipped cream, whatever it is, frosting. But if you want to make an adjustment to what's going on in the final product, you add something into the mix of the fire, the water, the air. So that's how it is with life. We want to affect things, we go to the higher realms. This is why when Jesus talks and says to us that the fight and the battle we have is not with powers of the earth, but with principalities and authorities beyond, that is what it's about. So as long as we keep thinking that our battle here is in the earth, then we're going to keep looking for the battle, and that's not where it is. We need to look behind the scenes. Now, the subconscious mind currently is in Gemini. This is the card that represents Gemini. And again, just a reminder, you see the three characters here, the male, the female, and the higher self. It's kind of like this one here, except the only difference is here they're not chained. Here they are chained. They're chained by ignorance. They're not chained by ignorance because they've made proper choices. The conscious mind is looking to the woman, the unconscious. The unconscious is looking to the higher self. And therein lies the freedom. So this is what the unconscious mind is wanting us to do, make good choices so we can see past the illusions in life. And as we get to later on tonight, we're going to make the transition into the next moon sign. The unconscious mind will be moving to Cancer, all about water and emotions. So this will be a watery, emotional type of time coming up, Christmas time. Cancer is a sign that represents, in one phase, the home. So this could be a Christmas where people just want to be at home, spending times at home, being nurtured, with feelings, having good feelings and emotions. So this is what is going on there. Some of the aspects we're looking at the rest of the day. We have an aspect coming up here between Gemini, the moon sign Gemini, and Jupiter. Square means there's a lesson. Something has to be learned here, and Jupiter is expanding. So our Gemini, our communication, our ability to use our discernment is learning a lesson on what happens when things expand. How we continue to maintain that sense of discernment through the expansion. 2:04 p.m. We have a trine with Mars. Mars always energizes, and the energy can go one of two ways. It can be passion, that can be very creative and productive. It can be aggression, which becomes very warlike because it's bottled up. Depends how we use it. Here's a trine, says there's a nice positive use and a positive flow of this energy. So our ability to communicate is energized. And then, of course, 8:57, we go into the void, of course. So we hit the last phases of the Gemini message. And then 11:26, we go into Cancer, where we're going to be over the course of this full moon, which comes up at like 3 a.m., something like that. I'll show you momentarily. And then you have, over the weekend, we have the Cancer as well. Okay. The moon sign, or the moon phase, excuse me, is 98.9%. And we could see the full moon happens at 3:11 a.m. 3:11 a.m. coming up. Jewish calendar, today's 12 Tevet. Daily thought is called Wondrous by Design. What is wondrous about nature is that it explains itself, and the more it explains itself, the more mysterious it becomes. Each thing says, I do this because I am this way, as though each were its own being, guided by its own design, until a pattern emerges in a greater pattern, and yet greater, until a wondrous wholeness emerges in which there are no things, there is only one. Nature reveals its oneness through the art of concealment. Mayan Oracle, Dreamspell Oracle, 5-tone day, so we're at the 5th position. This is the overtone where things radiate outwards now, in all directions. It's the serpent, which is bringing us the life force energy. So today is how we use our life force energy. Radiate it out. And then we have the guide is the Skywalker, which is about exploration. Red is the color of action. Our hidden power is asking questions, the warrior. Using our intelligence to move us through situations. Timelessness is our like-minded energy, and our vision needs really to be disciplined. So it is not our hindrance, because today it's a challenge for us. What is our vision? How are we seeing things? Is it clear? Are we seeing the illusion? Phrase for today is I empower in order to survive, commanding instinct. I seal the store of life force with the overtone tone of radiance. I'm guided by the power of space. Spaceweather.com, our solar wind is 469.2 kilometers per second. Planetary K index, quiet at a 2, unsettled at a 4 over the next 24 hours. Big corona hole at the bottom and one coming up on top. Notification that we're going to be feeling this today and tomorrow here on the Earth. M-class flare possibilities at 50%. X-class at 10%. Geomagnetic storm activity is slowing down, going from 25 to 20 in the mid-latitudes. Upper latitudes dropping from 30 down to 25. And then finally, up in the sky tonight, here we have our moon. Looking below the moon, off to the right, we see Orion. Right here, the bright stars are going to see are Betelgeuse, Rigel. You could see them last night, really clear, really bright. Full moon tonight, 3:11 a.m. Pacific time, 6:11 a.m. Eastern time. The full moon nearest the winter solstice rides higher across the night sky than other full moon of the year. Its highest of all around midnight, giving luster of midday to objects below. The moon will be shining north of Orion's main pattern, near the top of Orion's dim club. Okay, so we see Orion here, and we look to the upper left, and above that we have Taurus, Tauri. Okay, there you go. There's our cosmic weather for today, Christmas Eve. That brings us up to UFO news, so let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right. Today's UFO news starts off with a sighting that came in early last month from Montana. Doctor catches best UFO photo of the year. It's a nice, good object right there. Nice, good shot. Says this was captured by a doctor in Montana last month. He used special software that catches moving objects and has worked 2 years to catch one. This has to be the most clear UFO photo we have seen all year long. Shot during the day in a part of Montana that has a very low population. This is how it's done. Number 1 catch of 215. I got to try this motion sensor tech. I will look into it and I will tell you more soon. Scott C. Waring. All right, very good picture right there. There's the doctor who caught it. Clancy, Montana. For nearly 2 years, Dr. Richard O'Connor has kept 2 cameras pointed at the sky with the deep hope and belief that something might be out there. Then after nearly 280,000 photos captured by motion detection, it happened. Or maybe not. But O'Connor's findings of what he believes are 2 unidentified flying objects have set off a barrage of email exchanges, some of them angry in the community of UFO fans and experts. About noon on November 4th, his camera captured 5 photos of something flying through the skies of Montana that is hard for some to explain. It appears to be a light source. O'Connor said, in my opinion, even a hindered skeptic would say, wow, that is what I expected a UFO to look like. But his discovery has sparked some debate, leaving the doctor to find his own photo experts to determine what his cameras may have captured. The answer to this mystery remain up in the air. Okay, so there you go. There's the objects. Definitely very good images. Are they real? Are they not? I'll leave it to you to check it out. Team of scientists searches for aliens around a mysterious star. High-tech telescopes have been observing the unusual star. It's labeled KIC 8462852. And they seem to have unraveled the theory quickly that the star could just harbor an advanced alien civilization. The search is just a start of a much bigger experiment for a team of the new organization called SETI International, led by Doug Vekach. The new group should not be confused with SETI Institute. Early in 2015, Penn State astronomer Jason Wright and Yale postdoctoral graduate student Tabby Boyajian discovered an unusual and perplexing massive structure orbiting star KIC 8462852, located 1,500 light-years from Earth. It was the first time they saw this kind of thing. Wright suggested that the massive structure could be a Dyson swarm, still in progress, a variant of a hypothetical machine called Dyson Sphere that an advanced alien civilization would build around a star to collect unimaginable amounts of energy. Vekach and SETI International scientists got very excited on the implication that an advanced civilization could be building such a structure. The team pointed a small Panamanian telescope at their Bouquet Optical SETI Observatory towards the mystery star for 6 nights between October 29th and the 28th. He and his team of scientists were observing the distant stellar system for laser pulses that any potential advanced civilization might be sending to Earth. 3 out of these same 6 nights, they also pointed the California-based Allen Telescope Array toward a similar star to listen to any signals. As of the moment, the team could not find anything to verify the theory about intelligent aliens living there. Either these aliens stay quiet or there are no aliens at all. Okay? So there's a good story right there. Here's a story of something that perhaps happened up on Mars. Or is it Greenland? Which one is it? We certainly know that there's been findings up on Greenland that look very much like Mars. But this one says it's up on Mars and it's supposed to be an object here that, as we get closer, we see could possibly be some sort of a area where a craft landed. Okay, of course, all speculation on what that might be. And this is what somebody speculates. Is that real? Is it not? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're up on Mars or if they're in Greenland, but it's very bizarre. Very bizarre indeed. Okay. Moving on. Thought I'd bring a couple of pictures here during the pictures relating to the birth of Yeshua. Here's one of them. And what do we see up in the sky here? Oh, a little UFO. And here we have another image. This was the Annunciation, and when Mary becomes pregnated, and here we have some sort of light beaming from the sky down in here from this ship. So what's the point of these pictures? Well, because there's a lot of theories about who Jesus, Yeshua, was. How did this, Immaculate Conception occur? Was this an alien implant that occurred? Is that what this was all about? Were the various beings that visited, were they all extraterrestrial in nature? Was Jesus an extraterrestrial sent down from elsewhere? These are all questions, but certainly the fact that these pictures do exist shows that there was some understanding of UFOs during some period in time, and definitely happening at times when there wasn't airplanes or technology like that. So very interesting. Also, in regards to yesterday with the archons, it's possible that these could be archons watching what's going on because of who and what Jesus is all about. Number of possibilities. The one thing that we do understand is there is something there and shouldn't be there. All right? All right. I'm going to jump away. I'll be back. We shall continue on. Stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Great Spirit, send down your love, send down your love.
right. Great spirit. Great spirit. Today, being Christmas Eve, I thought I'd bring up something just to look at. Christmas trees around the world, just to kind of see how others are celebrating the trees that they put up. Some very interesting ones here. This is in the Czech Republic. This is Milan, Italy. This is out in Tokyo, St. Petersburg, Russia. Here we have Turin, Italy. Rodrigo, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. This is in Malaysia. Beirut, Lebanon. South Korea. Moscow. Manila, Philippines. All right, so, it's very fascinating. People around the world take time out to celebrate this day for a variety of reasons. A variety of reasons. Certainly, the number one reason that most people are aware of this holiday is because it's to celebrate the birth of Jesus. Even though Jesus wasn't born at this particular time, this is when we're celebrating it. It's funny if you listen to, interviews with kids about what the holiday is about. One I was hearing yesterday, and there was one kid, they said, "What is Christmas about?" And the kid didn't know, and he said, "It's when Jesus gives presents to everybody." And it's kind of funny because, it's the parents' job who should be teaching the children about what's going on. And if the parents don't understand, and why wouldn't? How could we get to the point of not understanding? It's because we have this holiday, which is a mishmash of so many things. We have these non-traditional religious events, which is really where most of the Christmas season came from. And the birth of Jesus was added into that mix, which was already existing. As I read to you early on, Christmas used to be a different time where there was a bit more debauchery and lewdness that was going on. There was sacrifice, human sacrifice, which was taking place. It was a different time. We've evolved over the years, so our Christmas season is a bit different. Generally, the one thing about Christmas, though, is there's an understanding of spreading goodwill, and that's a very positive thing. So it's nice that we have even one day where people around the world, here on Earth, are going to be able to take time out, even if they think about peace for just a few moments. There's people on the Earth, all across the Earth, from corner to corner, which are taking time out to think about peace. And that in itself is a positive thing. So, if that's all that we get out of this, then that's pretty awesome in itself. But I think that a lot of people are taking time out and are remembering a little bit more of what's going on, especially as we see so many examples of darkness in the world. Understanding the opportunity of the light to shine itself really makes a big difference. So I think, I think this is going to be a good Christmas. I think it's going to be a nice, good Christmas. People have good feelings, a good times. So anyway, I wanted to bring up two stories from the Bible, from Matthew and from Luke, and each one of these is the story of the birth. So here we go. This is Matthew 1:18. In both versions, I'm using the King James Version for no particular reason, just the one I'm using. Now, the birth of Jesus Christ was on this wise, when as his mother Mary was exposed to Joseph. Before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. Then Joseph, her husband, being just a man and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privately. But while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Ghost. And he shall bring forth a son. Thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Now all this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Behold, the virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call him Emmanuel, which being interpreted is, God is with us. Then Joseph, being raised from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord had bidden him, and took unto him his wife, and knew her not until she had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called her his name, Jesus. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he, this king born of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all of Jerusalem with him. He gathered the chief priests and scribes of the people and demanded them where Christ was born. Okay, so there's one version. In this version, again, just be reminded, when you see the word Jesus here, there wasn't a J during the time when this was written, so the name would be Yeshua. And instead of Joseph, it would be Yosef. So Yosef, Yeshua. Okay, and let's go to the other passage. This is from Luke. Luke 2, verse 1 through 20. And it came to pass in those days that there was sent out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And all the taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph went up to Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea, unto the city of David, which he called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. She brought forth her firstborn son, wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for him in the inn. And there was in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all the people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Saviour, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. He shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God, saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill towards men. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, Let us now go into Bethlehem, and see this thing which is come to pass, which the Lord hath made known unto us. When they came with haste, and they found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in a manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad the saying which was told them concerning the child. And all they heard wondered at those things which they were told by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen, as it was told unto them. Okay, so there you go. There's two versions of the birth of Yeshua as occurred in the book of Matthew and the book of Luke. Okay. All right. Let me move on here. This is an article over at In5D, and the article is called How Your Psychic Senses Are Connected to Earth's Energy. Psychic researcher, and this is an article that comes from Natural News by Julie Wilson. Psychic researcher Pete A. Sanders Jr. knew early on that his psychic ability was real, leading to him to spend an education at MIT studying brain science and biomedical chemistry, hoping to understand the complex relationship between the brain, the mind, and the nervous system. MIT professor Dr. Jerome Letvin inspired Sanders when he opened a course about nerves, stating, I'm not going to teach you about what we know about nerves. Everything we know about the 2 class sessions to tell you is relatively boring. Instead, I'm going to talk to you about what we don't know about nerves. Dr. Letvin's approach changed Sandler's outlook on life, spurring him to pursue a career studying the brain's sensory abilities and the connection to ESP. The following is an excerpt from Sanders' book entitled You Are Psychic, in which he discusses the relationship between Earth's energy patterns and our psychic abilities, which he believes we all have. By learning to focus on the psychic reception areas, you will receive stronger psychic impressions, strong enough to divert your attention from your physical senses. With practice, even subtle energy patterns will be discernible. Best of all, you'll be able to develop your extrasensory abilities safely and steadily. When you are able to turn them on at will, you can also turn them off to prevent the possibility of a psychic overload. Additionally, you will have the increased security that greater awarenesses and skills always bring. All of our senses, physical and psychic, function in some part by receiving and responding to some form of energy. Physical vision depends on the energy of light waves striking the eye. Physical hearing senses the vibrational energy of sound waves. Taste and smell function through chemical energy reactions between certain molecules in the receptor cells of the tongue and olfactory areas. The psychic senses follow a similar pattern, except that the energies they interact with cannot be discerned physically or measured by current technology. Psychic senses are invisible, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. That should not deter you from exploring your psychic abilities, but many forms of energy affect your life whether you understand them or not. 200 years ago, little was understood about electricity, but electric energy existed. Though scientifically unexplained, lightning struck, electric eels gave shocks, the nervous system functioned. Even today, you may not fully understand how electricity works, although you use it routinely. Consider what happens when you turn on a light. You don't need to understand how electrons travel back and forth to the wires. Neither do you need to be aware that for each of your thoughts and movements, the electrical energy that is your brain and nervous system has processed millions of messages. You don't need to know that each of these brain messages involves billions of complex exchanges of chemical energy into electrical energy. Instead, you have learned by experience how to make these forms of energy work for you in practical ways, even though you may not know how they work. You just raise your hand, flip the switch, the light goes on. You need to adopt the same approach to using your psychic senses. They receive the psychic energy that is emitted by all people, places, and objects because you are energy and you can receive and identify these extrasensory vibrations. Much about human brain is still unknown, and we use the word mind as a sort of shorthand to describe mental abilities that go beyond what we know about the physical wiring of the cortex. Brain scientists cannot yet explain why or how we dream, how memory is structured, or how we form a creative thought. Yet every day we dream, we remember, and we think. Or consider the mystery of hypnosis. It has been studied and used successfully for over a century to reduce or eliminate pain. It has even been used in surgery instead of anesthesia to help us control addictions, to uncover repressed memories, yet we still don't have a precise idea how or why hypnosis works. The fact is that science today comprehends probably less than a tenth of what our brain and mind can do. In a world where scientists now believe once unbelievable things, for instance, that all matter exists in 10 dimensions, the time slows down as you travel faster, the particles, tachyons, which can arrive at the destination before they leave their point of origin, may indeed exist. That the universe is literally a sea of interchangeable and interacting energy. In such a world, the concept of psychic sensitivity of ESP is no longer a far-fetched fantasy. Therefore, it is not reasonable to resign yourself to waiting until a researcher announces we have now discovered exactly how extrasensory perception operates. You now have the permission to use your psychic senses. Even though science does not understand how psychic messages are processed, you can experience and use them in your daily life. Okay. And I just wanted to bring this up for a moment here. Remember the second principle, the principle of correspondence? Everything corresponds to everything else. Well, that's kind of what this article was just talking about. How we have this ability where the mind is communicating and corresponds with all the different aspects. So it actually is a confirmation of what Hermetic science has known for a long, long time. All right, here's today's message. Comes to us from Yeshua. Here we go.
Yeshua, live in your heart of desires.
Channeled by Fran Zepeda, December 19th, 2015.
Yeshua.
Greetings, beloveds. This is a very auspicious time for everyone in their own unique way. It will take finessing and seeing everything around you and within you from a new unique perspective. It is time to stretch yourselves and delve into your soul even more than usual. It is a virtual meeting of your soul with your higher mind, interpreting and drawing from a new perspective not used before. It is a virtual love fest with your soul, honoring it and loving it like you have never done before. It is forefront to your reality now, dear ones, and let no one tell you that you are not delving very, very deep into your soul. It may look like all you see are problems around you and it takes a lot of your attention, and so you may ask me, how is this a higher way of being? I am dealing with so many mundane problems. Well, dear ones, look at it this way: if you were not evolving into a higher way of being, this would not be happening. Everything is coming up to be seen as the illusion that it is. Yes, you must deal with it, and yes, the solution can come easily if you let it, and then move on and see it as a virtual clearinghouse of all the mundane 3D structure that you painstakingly assembled in all your years, your eons, of dabbling on earth away from your birthright, away from your full divine awareness of your full divine self. And this old reality is becoming dismantled and demolished, and oh, it can create a mess, just like a demolition of a building can create a mess. But within all that chaos, wanting to emerge, is a shining jewel, a shining reality of your true self and reality coming from your core being, ready to take over and shine even more. Many of you feel like you are stepping backwards. It feels even more mundane and less lofty than you imagined it would be, when you were anticipating 2012. You did not know that this business of descending your divine self, your I Am presence, into your physical body would be so messy or even take the turns it has. But in this you are learning to flow with it, trusting in your divine guidance, which is more and more coming from you and not up there from your brethren in the celestial realm. You may even be astounded at what you are feeling and knowing in spite of how easily it comes to you. And this, dear ones, is the byproduct of all the work you have been doing in clearing out the old ways of being. And this, dear ones, is the epitome of your evolvement. It may seem simple, but as you sit and stand now, you are an immense and immaculate divine being, inhabiting this physical being, that is a partner to you in many ways now. You are settling in and feeling the merge. It exalts you, it excites you, and it is your new way of being. So beloveds, disregard the chaos and the rebel of this demolition project you are involved in, for it is not as harsh and violent an operation as it sounds. It is a loving pulling apart and disassembling of all the old patterns that kept your divine self feeling separate and undivine, only to find that lo and behold, that gorgeous soul, that you are, was waiting to show itself to the world in all its divine glory. So dear ones, continue to live in your heart and focus on the shine of it, focus on the divine of it, focus on the wholeness and depth of it. And let the chaos and disassembling of your old self and that of others, proceed as if in a protective bubble, all the while feeling into the immense depth of your soul and divine self. I love you all so dearly, and I see your progress, and I honor your struggles as a means of letting go of the old, and shining your pristine divine essence once again in all its glory. I encourage you to be undaunted by things as they seem, and focus on what they really are, what your reality really is, your heart's desires for a flowing, loving world for all to thrive in and inhabit. The more you focus on this, the more you make it a reality. Live in your heart of desires and it shall be so. Namaste. Your loving brother, Yeshua.
All right, very good. That was a really good message. It was yesterday, same message as yesterday. Just thought I'd repeat it again because it's worth hearing. Things are changing down here on Earth. We have good, we have bad. It's all kind of happening simultaneously. Question is, are we going to focus on the bad or the good? Well, this is the season when we focus on the good, and hopefully it'll stick. But as long as people are out there focusing on it, that's a start. And you got to start somewhere. And remember, things are not always as they appear to be. So even though things are falling apart, it actually may be coming together, and the things that are happening are necessary. That's why we're seeing more truths in the world. We see, more things happening that appear to be breaking down, but sometimes things have to break down in order to be rebuilt back up. All right? All right. That brings us to our meditation for today. Let's go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath and exhale. Take another deep breath and exhale again. And another breath and exhale. Now, let's just imagine ourselves walking along a path. This is the path of life. And we're walking along this path, and we see along the way things that appear to be breaking down. And we see these things breaking down, and we look closer and we find that they are not being broken down, they're actually being rebuilt at the same time. That there is a process of change which is occurring. And as we look past the illusion, we realize that this change, this breakdown is necessary in order for things to be built up. Sometimes we have to be lost in order to be found. And so as we see this breakdown and this rebuilding, this losing and this finding, we realize that life is moving according to plan. Not the plan of man, but the plan of God. And that divinity is all around us. We follow this path and we continue to see things coming together. And we think about this time that we have ahead of us, this season of remembering light returning to the world, not only physically in terms of the light of the sun, but also the light of God being revealed to us through one of His messengers, through His Son, Yeshua. When we think about all of the opportunities that come in life when we understand and accept this light of truth, how the light shines brightly and the darkness illuminates, and no longer is darkness, but is now light. So Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, we thank you for the opportunity to see through the darkness. We thank you for the light that shines bright in our lives, and the opportunity yet again for us as humans upon the earth to be better and to make this world a better place. We pray for peace upon this earth to all beings, and that minds of those closed are open to understanding the possibility of peace that does exist. And we send love and light into the earth, to all the inhabitants of the earth, that love might change them in a positive manner, or else simply open their minds to understanding the errors of the way. Either way, we know that love will heal and change and make things better. So we just keep sending out love, love and more love. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey, sending out love, peacefulness, good vibes. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is the show for today. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here tomorrow. I think I might take the day off, spend time with friends, family, enjoying the day. But I may show up. Never can tell. We'll see how things turn out in the morning. In the meantime, I want you to have an awesome day and have an awesome holiday. Remember, this is a time of peace. This is a time of remembering the light that's available for all of us. This is just one day that occurs, but this one day and the energy of love and light we can put out on this one particular day, with so many people on the earth focused on that, could be a really wonderful opportunity for us to be able to move forward with our understandings, to move past the illusions that are in front of us. We just need to stay focused, we need to keep our hearts open, and we just need to keep loving no matter what. And that will push the darkness aside so that we can have the world that we want. That's it. I'll talk to you soon. You have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other. Merry Christmas. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.